2, 1. Brothers Thrice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Brothers Thrice. We are three brothers who grew up in a close, tight-knit family, yet we have vastly different hobbies. And are you mocking me?
No, I'm just mouthing along because this is it's scripted so well.
Buzz looking alien.
Ah.
Also, you look like you're about to sneeze right before you started, so I was waiting for you to sneeze, but then
Yeah, you were
didn't.
like,
You just went.
That was
Hey,
me
we'll go Brothers
anticipating that was me anticipating the beginning. Anyway, my name is Brian. I am joined here with my brothers.
Will.
Kevin.
Heyo.
Yeah. And
Good
today
job.
we are going to discuss, hey, what you watching?
Yeah, hey,
What's up?
what you watching on the television or the streaming platform?
What you watching?
I'm pretty sure. I don't have cable. I know Brian doesn't have cable.
I don't have cable. I have YouTube TV, which is cable, but it's digital cable.
It's cable adjacent.
It's cable. It has cable channels.
It's cable adjacent. Now,
Well, I have cable. I used to have quote unquote cable at my old apartment. I took a sewing needle and a piece of tinfoil, and in my old TV that's in a box on that shelf up there. Actually, you take the needle and you shove it into the coax plug-in on the back of the TV where the cable wire goes in. Then you wrap the tinfoil around the coax plug-in and the needle, and then you hit scan for channels like it was like an antenna, and then you get some cable channels.
What, like they look good?
I mean, they're okay, but it comes in. It's not staticky at all or anything like that.
Is there
Like,
anything you want to watch? Can you change the channel?
Yeah, you can change the channel. I got like 12 channels or whatever. I got like CBS.
Like the basic channel.
Yeah.
Oh,
for free.
well, antennas still work, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
The
very
radio waves are still pumping
now
out.
I'm curious. How did you come about? Like, you know what I'm gonna do?
internet.
I'm gonna stick a needle and then wrap it in tinfoil.
Internet.
Like, did you search how do I get free cable? Like, what
No.
what led you to that?
Well, I saw a TikTok about trying to like scam the cable.
TikTok.
And I was like,
the
I
kids
can do
these
that.
days.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
on
I can do
TikTok.
that,
I haven't posted anything, but I watch it all the time. It's
I learn a lot.
it's insane how much that time that kills. Like time flies when I'm on TikTok.
Yeah.
So when I'm in my
When
car,
you're on the app, it takes away the clock on
Does
the
it?
top of the screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
when you're on the app, you can't see the time on it. Maybe
Wow.
they do that on purpose.
because I time flies. If I'm ever like in a waiting room, like a doctor's waiting room, or I'm in by myself, obviously not with Em or anybody, or I'm like I have my car going home after work, and I need to just kill like a half hour, 40 minutes. It flies by when you're on TikTok.
It's like being in a casino in Las Vegas. There's
Yeah,
no
you don't know
clocks.
there's no windows. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But
So-
I learn a lot. It's a lot of interesting.
So
things. I
technically,
follow a lot of
on the
stuff like
what you watching, Bri, we could say TikTok as a because we are watching it. Kev, you don't have TikTok?
Okay.
No.
All the oldest and the youngest.
Yeah,
Well, even Bri, you see, you're also on the older side for TikTok now too.
Well, he's still technically a Gen Z, so he's still in it.
On the border.
I'm Gen Z. I miss a cutoff by like 5 days.
Yeah, it's like you're right on the edge. Like you're teetering between the two
I
worlds.
thought millennials ended in 95.
I think there's a lot of different scales. It's hard. It's very annoying because you go on different websites, they'll say something different. Like I know I'm solidly a millennial. Like there's never been any closeness for me.
Me too.
It says. Well, I mean, this is. I don't know.
When they need an official like ranking of the year.
Yeah,
like
but
this,
who's making these?
well, it's the same way that your like horoscopes are always the same year or same months. Then you do the same thing for years.
It says boomers are born from 1945 to 1964.
Mom's on the border of
yeah.
Well, don't age
boomer.
our mother, Will. She won't like that.
She's still a boomer though.
I didn't say. I said she's on the border.
That
means she's younger.
1965 to 1980 is Gen X. Millennials is 1981 to 1996.
Ooh,
and Gen Z is 97 to 2000.
So you literally are on
You're
like
5 days.
Well, because you're early just 97, so you're literally like I said, like
Told
you're
you.
like between the two worlds. You're like teetering.
Yeah. So
So,
I'm not,
so you
I'm
can
my
be on
own.
TikTok. So you can be on TikTok because you're technically Gen Z.
Yeah.
But
The Z stands for
like the
teen.
oldest Gen Zer there is.
Wait, what does it go from?
Yeah.
I didn't hear the second part. It goes from 97 to what?
2012.
Wow.
So what's
So
after
my
2012?
my students
Doesn't
are
say.
Gen Z.
Yeah, mine too.
What's
Um,
after 2012 then to now?
what I'm looking at doesn't have.
What was that? I don't even know what that is. Like I never heard it. I guess
The quarantines.
well, that's only if they're teens. Well, they wouldn't be teen. Well, how old are they're not even 10 yet.
No,
So
they
they're
don't
not
till
teens.
next year.
Anyone,
They're
anyone
not
They
born in
will. They will be
2012.
eventually, though.
Well,
True.
because they weren't they weren't teens in the quarantine though. That's what I'm saying.
No, but
Well,
then,
by then when they're teenagers, we'll still have quarantines because
God, I hope
shit
not.
ain't going away.
So anyone who's 25 to 40 right now is a millennial, and anyone 9 years old to 24 years old is a Gen Z. It's such a weird gap, but whatever.
Well, because like well, it's like because I being solid and millennial, it's like I know grew up in a time where there was not. Well, it's Kev too. We grew up at a time there was like when there was no computer in the house,
Yeah.
but we also we're like the transition years between no computer to computer, and now everyone has internet.
We're the younger end of it, that we had the computer and the phones when we were like high school
Later
age.
schooling,
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
like, because technically like our cousin like Lauren and Danielle are older, who are they're the other end of the millennials. They didn't have the computer.
They didn't have it until they were like
high
in
school.
their later
They're
on
late
years.
late college.
Yeah.
Right.
So like it's different. Like it's different having access to a computer at home and all the things like AIM and all that sort of stuff when you're in high school and middle school versus when you were late college. Like it just hits you differently.
They might have not even used AIM. I don't know. They probably did. I don't know. But also then you think about like where it's like, okay, then you have kids these days, who they're just born with like an iPhone not in their hand, but like it's such a different
in utero.
Yeah, it's
They
such
have
a
an iPhone that grows with them in utero.
Yeah, you think about it now where it's like crazy, where it's like they've never had a time where they can't just Google something. Like we had a time where Google wasn't a thing.
But that's why teaching history for me is very difficult, because it's now we have to change it to, it used to be memorization of facts versus now it's everybody knows every fact because you can just Google it in 2 seconds. There's no point in really memorizing anything. Whereas now it's more thinking about the whys and like analyzing things instead of the actual history part.
Yeah, like
that doesn't
like
matter.
the knowing what date is what is not really as irrelevant.
It's not relevant,
as
right? Or memorizing anything.
On a test is relevant, but that's about it.
No, because we don't even test. I don't even give tests like that anymore because it doesn't matter. Like in life, they're not going to need to memorize anything because they can just look up everything. Whereas looking at a document and analyzing stuff that comes from it, like point of view, bias, stuff like that, is what I'm testing on now.
Makes sense.
Speaking of not knowing anything and rotting your brains, television.
Yeah.
Or it's not even television, it's just streaming.
True.
Shows.
Yeah.
TV shows, whether you stream them, watch them on cable, or
you watch on your phone.
Imagine them yourselves in your head, is TV.
No, that's TV. That's just your imagination.
Yeah.
I can't watch your imagination. Is that on HBO? Is that on HBO?
Yeah, I think so. HBO Go, HBO Max.
I don't know. I feel like
HBO
being inside Brian's brain is not where I want to be.
That's scary.
It's just a monkey with cymbals.
So, Elder, would you like to start? What's you watching?
William,
let me tell
you,
you,
dirty millennial.
We know you watch like 90 shows, so just boil it down to one for now.
I do watch a lot. I do my best because I have an app that keeps track of all my shows for me.
The fact that you have an app to keep track of all the shows you watch means you watch too many shows.
Well, I have it for movies too. I love my movie. I review all my movies I watch on Letterboxd. If you're on Letterboxd, look me up. So like these are all the shows. Oh,
we can't.
These are the shows I have to. Well, it's on my queue to watch. These are shows I haven't watched in a while that I started watching. And these are shows that the new Dexter I had to start. I had to start it, but that's not what I'm talking about. Um,
Oh, yeah, they brought that back, right?
yeah, for some reason I don't know, for money.
It's like people say like it ended so horribly.
Yeah, I love the last season, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's an older show. Right now, me and Em are watching, we're really enjoying Succession on HBO.
Mm-hmm. Macaulay Culkin's brother is in that, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Kieran Culkin. He's such a wise ass in that show. So the whole show is pretty much the dad is a giant, like a media giant.
He's a giant?
Like a media, he's a media like giant where he's like, it's kind of like he's like a huge conglomerate of a company, and he runs it, and he's getting older, and like he has kids who all.
And it's about the succession.
Exactly, succession of like who's going to run the company
There
after he died.
But
he's still around. He like in the first season, he has not a stroke. I don't know, so I can't remember what it was. But
Don't give us any spoilers.
no, it's not spoiling. It's more just like honestly, the show is formatted in a way that's very interesting, where it's like it's not just like this happens and this happens and then this happens. The approach is like whenever like they have a meeting or they have something, and it's all very like it's just very character driven. Like it's not very like there's not a lot of story to it. Like there's things that happen, but it's like very character like where it's like it's very hard to explain. They're all like the worst people because they're all like insanely wealthy and like private jets everywhere, private helicopters, private cars. Like it's all very like you're supposed to hate everybody, and everyone sucks, and everyone's selfish, and everyone's just like out for their own. Like, and you know, it's also a lot of like they're all so messed up because their dad's a complete asshole. Their mom is not nice either, and like they're divorced, and but it's just the characters are very good. All the actors and actresses are doing a great job, and it's just like, and especially Kieran Culkin is like he's like hilariously crass and terrible, and literally doesn't give a crap about anyone but himself. And it's hard to explain the show. It's like it's very unique in its own way. So it's not for everybody, but I think it's very hot right now. It's like one of those things.
So hot right now.
But it's
well, you did a terrible job of selling that show, but
it's hard to explain it honestly. Like I just heard only reason I watched it because we watched like some of the first season, and Em was kind of like, I like it, but I don't love it. And then we kept like I was like, ooh, I wanted to keep watching because I heard so much about like the hype of it. I'm like, oh, I just want to see. Like, hopefully, it'll probably get better, and then it did. And now we're in season 3, and we're up to date on the show. It's airing live now on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. I think.
Oh.
So it's not for everybody. Probably, I don't know if you guys would like because it's like you watch like the opulence of their life, and it's like kind of annoying that But it's also like that's the point. It's not supposed to like you're not supposed to love these people. But it's hard to explain. But it's interesting right now. We're watching.
And where can you, for our listeners who might be interested, where can you stream that show?
HBO Max. Or if you have regular HBO in your cable, you can watch it on Sundays. Well, that's what people still watch HBO, not just always HBO Max.
Well, that's how I watch it. I steal it from Dad.
Yeah.
Don't listen to HBO.
Well, I think we all have our own profiles on Dad's HBO Max.
Yeah, well, he's on my Disney Plus, so you
guys are on my Hulu. So
no, I am not on your Hulu.
No,
I am.
No,
okay,
Brian.
Brian is, and Mom and Dad are also on my Hulu.
Yeah.
Right, what do you bring to the table?
Me?
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, what do you bring?
I provide. I have Discovery Plus and Disney Plus. Will provides Hulu. Dad brings in HBO Max and Netflix. What do you bring to the table?
Wait, Kev, you have your Disney Plus. Whose Disney Plus do you have your own Disney Plus?
My own Disney Plus. I pay for it.
I have mine. I think I have my own Disney Plus too.
No, you should get rid of it and just get on mine.
Well, I'm also because Doug and Allison and they use my Disney Plus. Because at first we were like paying like as a Christmas gift we were paying for their Hulu and Disney Plus, and I'm like, why would I pay a second?
Yeah,
Disney
that doesn't make any sense.
So like we literally like after we like did it, I'm like, I just realized why just go on ours.
Yeah.
So now there's like on a Hulu, there's like a Doug and Allison one, and there's a burger iPad.
Nice.
Wait,
we're getting away from it. Brian, what do you bring to the table?
Oh yeah,
a warm smile.
You don't provide any.
How many episodes of that can I watch?
I'm the youngest, so I'm the favorite.
What does that mean?
I
he
get
doesn't have to
everything
do
I
shit.
want.
He's a baby.
That's right.
Damn,
you're fully employed.
You're damn
Yeah.
Gen Zers.
Yeah.
Well,
You're fully employed,
Well, how
and
about
you
Brian,
also
you
pay
get-
the least amount in rent. You could pull in some sort of
How about you get the new Paramount Plus? Then we all jump onto that.
yeah.
But I don't want Paramount Plus. I don't
wanna.
I don't want to watch anything on Paramount Plus.
SpongeBob's
I'll tell you what,
on
Also,
there.
Will, I don't know if you know this. Hey, Bri, whose cell phone plan are you on?
Mom and Dad.
Oh shit!
They didn't kick me off yet, so I'm just gonna
So
milk
he's
it
just
until
gonna
they.
not go until they hear this episode, and they're like, "Oh, it's good."
Well,
They're
they're
They
aware
know
as
it.
well.
They
We
know.
talked
They're
about this.
aware that they pay for Brian's cell phone. They're not just like, why is our cell phone bill so high?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I mean,
Why is he using so many gigs?
I got off their health insurance last year.
Because you had
And,
to legally.
and- No, I'm not 26 yet.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, but I got a big boy job, so I was like, you know what? I got this.
Wait. What about car insurance?
Cell phone.
Car insurance? Well, because I still have my car that I got like at the end of high school, that was registered under Dad's name, so I still have that car. So we didn't transfer it over to
That's fair.
anything else yet. So
Technically, I'm driving Nana's car, so I technically don't pay insurance either. Even though I always tell Dad, I'm like, let me pay some insurance. I feel bad. But he's like, no, don't worry about it right now. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay.
well, Nana's not using it, so
That's
yeah,
well, yeah.
we all good. Shout out Nana.
Shout out Nana. She can't
Nana's
hear this.
definitely
She has
listening.
no internet connection. She's
No, there's Wi-Fi at Nana's house now.
yeah, but she can't listen.
She has no
But
devices to connect.
no devices
No.
to connect to.
No, she has no devices to connect.
She's cut. She doesn't know what's happening in the internet world.
No, but
Well, she knows what's
what's
happening in the world because she's got CNN on 100
blast.
volume. Her neighbors know what's going on in the news too.
that and what's going on at NCIS.
Nana needs to get some TikTok.
Yeah. First
Yeah.
we gotta get her an iPad so the screen's nice and big, and then get TikTok on there so she can swipe as much as she wants.
Yeah.
That'd be a good time.
You know that
So
would
then
just be like a coaster.
going into Kev, what are you watching?
Yeah,
All right, so I'm not watching it at the moment because I finished it, but I watched the first season of the show Arcane on
I
Netflix.
thought you were gonna say Game of Thrones. I was gonna slap you silly.
No, I'm not gonna-
I'm like, you can't talk about Game of Thrones anymore. It's over.
no.
And it's
So
garbage now.
I've watched the first season of Arcane, which is a new animated show on Netflix that is based on characters from the very popular MOBA game League of Legends, which is a game that I played a lot in college, and I enjoyed it very much. But the show, I had low expectations on the show. I heard that it was coming out. I was like, oh, sure, I'll give it a go. But it is fantastic. It has been rated like a 10 out of 10 on IMDb. It's been rated 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. The art style is very cool. It takes place in a world within League of Legends where some of the characters that you can play as come from, but it is a steampunk type environment. So it has like that old Victorian
Gears.
era type thing, gears, different types of, technology in that kind of realm, but it's more like high tech steampunk because they have like what's called a hex tech core. So it's like kind of like magic within steampunk environment. And there's
They got
like
steam from like a tea kettle, and then they got like
Tea
pump
kettle.
fans all over the place.
kettle. Yeah. So it's the story kind of takes place in a sense of there is two levels to a city, and the high above ground place is where all the rich folk are. They lead, they run the place, all that sort of stuff. There's like a council, and one of the major characters is like a scientist on the council and things like that. Then there's also the underground, which is where all the poor people live, and it's gross and
So just real
not
life?
maintained.
Yeah, is this based on America or something?
Yeah, basically. And the people are like there's an underground leader who kind of like runs it. It's kind of like organized crime type deal, and it circles around different characters that are playable characters in League of Legends, but it gives you kind of their backstory, their origins through this new kind of method of storytelling, comparatively
Sounds
to
like
the
it sounds
game.
like a D&D campaign.
I mean, yes and
I
no.
guess
I
any
mean,
story could be.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it's just the art style is really, really cool.
I've seen
It's-
like I don't know if it's on the trailer, but I've seen like images from it, and it's very cool. It looks like like Borderlands, like cell animation, cell shaded animation.
It's like that, but then also taken. I don't know if either one of you have played BioShock before.
I played a little bit.
It's kind of like BioShock, where it's like, it's that kind of steampunky, but there's like some drug magic-y stuff. Like it's
drug magic.
It's very
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
I recommend anyone to watch that, even if you're not a League of Legends fan like me. Like I've talked to my friends from college. I'm like, you got to watch it because you guys would enjoy it on a different level, basically, because I know the characters that they are starting out as.
You don't need to know.
No, you don't need to know.
They get fleshed out enough in the show.
Yeah, they're giving you the origin stories.
You get extra snippets though, because you know the background.
Yeah, and I get a lot of like the Easter eggs that they're showing and things around. Like I get the references.
Oh, look at that! I know that.
Yeah, like the origin stories that they show. Like I don't know the origin stories. Like on League, you can read the lore for each character.
But nobody
does. Nobody does that.
This guy looks cool. I'm gonna pick him.
Yeah, and they got cool abilities. I'll choose them.
He got full fireballs. I'm gonna pick him.
So I don't know, but I know what their like abilities are, and I know like what they look like. So based on like, oh, this is a younger version of Vi, which is one of the characters, and I know what she does. Vi. So I know like where the story will kind of end up gearing her towards, and it's kind of cool to be like see how it gets to that point. But the story itself is very good. Art style is awesome. The villain in it is really cool. So it's a recommend watch for anyone who enjoys that type of fantasy. It's like a different type of fantasy, but it's not like knights
sci-fi fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's definitely, it's done in like 3 acts. They brought it out. So unlike most Netflix shows where it's like, here's the show, watch the entire season, they broke it up and they released it weekly, but they released it in 3 different acts of 3 episodes apiece. So like they released
each episode, so 3 episodes equals 1 actual episode.
Yeah. Well,
3.
Yeah. So they released Act 1, which was episode 1, 2, and 3. So they released that one day. Then the following week, they released Act 2, which is episode 4, 5, and 6. And then the following week, they released Act 3, which was episode 6, 7. No.
Are they separated by episodes, or is 1, 2, and 3 is one thing, almost like a movie? Oh, it's separated.
No. They're separated by episodes, but they just, instead of releasing it all at once, like Netflix usually does, they released it weekly, but they released 3 episodes every week,
right?
In like an act. So it was like gotcha. Act 1, 2, and 3 broken up into 3 separate episodes. So it was nice because that's one thing I don't like about Netflix shows is how they just dump everything on you, and it's like people just binge it in one day, and there's no discussion or talk about like the show over time. Where like I think this is going to happen, or
they're doing it a little more now.
It really builds the suspense and the kind of anticipation of show watching, when you can sit and like think like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen. Not necessarily like everyone has already binged it in one day and then it's gone. Well, so that's the conversation stops.
It's very funny because they're like, hey, let's do this new thing or release an episode a week. Oh, like regular old TV.
Yeah, like how things used to be. I like that so much better because
that's what like Disney Plus is doing. They didn't start doing that, but like they did it with like Mandalorian and a bunch of different stuff, like where it's like it kept it in the news longer because people and like that's good for the show. It's not good for the show for it to be hyped for like one day or whatever, and then the hype goes away. Right.
It continues the conversation every week. So instead of it being like spike and then done for 1 week, it's every week, every time that so every week that the show comes out, say it's on Fridays, you'll see trending on Twitter is Arcane's trending on Fridays and then all weekend. And then it dies down after the episode's over. And then the next week, they, spike again on Friday. So it's like, it continues that conversation that doesn't happen when you just put everything out and people can binge it in one day.
Well, there are shows that benefit from being binged. There's some shows I think it's like, because of the way it is, it's like, it's better to binge it because it's like the way the story is set up. And like
a bad show or a show that's not as good makes the show better if you could just binge it.
Yeah, because it's more.
Whereas like a show that's more suspenseful and like more well written,
you want
it's want to be drawn out. So like if you have like a show that's like meh, if you binge it, you're like, it's not bad. But if no show that's not that great, you're not going to want to wait weekly for.
True. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what's a show that's bingeable. Like, I guess like first Stranger Things was bingeable, but that was like that you kept wanting to watch the next one.
Yeah, so
but if Netflix did that model where they did it like they let it come out weekly, I think it still would have done even.
I think Stranger Things would have been better. Or maybe instead of do like the Arcane model of like give it a couple episodes, 1 or 2 episodes, episodes every week. So it's like you get to binge 2, but then you still get that conversation to go. Like I think of like on Netflix they have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right, which is an ABC show.
Yeah,
and it's not that great of a show. Like it's okay, it's not great, but it's the fact that I can just watch it over and over again makes it better.
Because there's not as much suspense in between episodes. Like you're just like, okay, this happens now. What happens next? Just go.
Right. Like any one of those like network shows that aren't that great are better when you can just binge watch it. Like I watched Arrow or The Flash or any of those like CW shows.
Yeah, those are like
if I had to wait weekly for them, I'm not going to watch it. But if it's I can just binge it, it makes it so much better.
Yeah, those CW shows are very. It's a binge watch.
Watch an episode and you wait a week and you binge watch another episode.
Shout out to Oh Hello. Also, probably I don't know. I haven't watched it recently, but I've already watched it like 10 times.
I watched it like 2 days ago. Again.
There you go.
But I've watched it so many times. It's so funny.
I saw it live. So, Brian, Sorry,
Brian, what are you watching?
What
am I watching?
What you watching?
Well, I haven't watched it recently. I think we should rewatch it because we've been anticipating the second season to come out for quite some time. But
what could you be talking about?
At what?
I'm trying to guess what you're trying to say. What you're going to say?
So Amazon Studios. No, hell no. Amazon Studios presents The Hunters. This show
is Al Pacino Nazi show.
Yeah, this show is
has both at the same time.
It's so good. So the basic premise of this show is that, and it's kind of not necessarily based on a true story, but the overall premise of how they go about the hunters form is kind of based on a true story.
Nazis.
Yeah, so it's based on this thing called Operation Paperclip, where after World War II ended, the Nazis and the Nazi scientists or whatever who were working underneath the Nazi regime in Germany were brought to the United States to help out with their space programs, science programs, etc. And they were basically just cleared and be like, oh yeah, you did some horrendous shit in Germany, like they were officers at a camp, or just generals underneath Hitler or whatever, or Nazi scientists are working on some wild technology for the regime. The United States government and CIA brought them over to be like, actually, you're going to work for NASA now. Like the guy, like one of the main players of the rocket scientists that put a man on the moon was a Nazi sympathizer. Yeah. I think his name was like
Heinrich
von
Nazi.
Von Nazi. So yeah, and so that was a real thing that happened. So the premise of the show is kind of going off of that historical event.
And then Al Pacino's like, let's kill him, right? Did they kill him or no?
Yes. So basically, the hunters is a band of misfits that are, you guessed it, hunting Nazis.
Are they Jewish?
Yes, most of them are Jewish. Yeah.
Is Oscar Isaac in it too?
Who?
No.
Oscar Isaac? I thought he was in it.
I don't think so.
I don't know who that is.
Guy who plays Poe Dameron.
Poe in Star Wars. No, he's not in it.
Josh Radnor is in that. They got Ted from How I Met Your Mother. He is on that.
Ted Mosby?
Yeah, Ted Mosby is a Nazi hunter.
Hunt Nazis.
I can't see Ted Mosby killing anybody.
The show is so badass, and like they go out and they just hunt Nazis, and like there's this company that what they're trying to do is carry out the Reich, if you will, and they're trying. Yeah. So what they're trying to do is they're basically trying to just poison minority communities and people of color and Jews and all that stuff. They're trying to basically poison them and have them kind of kill themselves by like poisoning a certain chief.
Well, that's totally not. That just makes it look like they died, but that's them killing them.
Well, yeah, so I'm saying they're making it look like they're just doing it to themselves because they're putting it in a mass-produced like corn syrup product that is available to everyone, and it's cheaper, so people who are lower income can have more access to it. So then, because they're like, oh, poor people, we hate them, and then they're going to take them out. So then
they hate poor people. Everybody. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. And then like, the Nazi guys are like wild, like the real sick bastards. Like, I mean, for obvious reasons, but the characters in the show are like
over the top,
psychopaths.
crazy.
Yeah, like it's insane. And this guy, this kid,
Is Christoph Waltz in it?
No, he's
No.
not.
Oh.
So this kid kind of
Inglourious
joins.
Bastards.
This
I
kid
know.
joins Al Pacino's little band of thieves here, who are
Kill Nazis. Hoo-ah!
because his grandmother or his softa was part of this whole thing, and then she died, and then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna take over for my softa, and I'm gonna take these bastards down,
I remember.
and it's badass.
I gotta watch that.
Dad's. Every time I ask my dad, what he's saying. He's like, "Oh, you guys watch Hunters?" I'm like, "Isn't that?"
Yeah,
old
he
now?"
definitely likes it.
He likes.
Yeah, he recommended it to me actually. It's a really, really good show.
the dad show.
It's a very good show, but it's like it's based off of that real thing that the United States government just thought was okay, but we went to the moon.
We got to the
it.
moon.
We beat those Russians. Yeah,
We have
alright.
cell phones now because of it.
Yeah, thanks Nazis, I guess.
Gross. Speaking of
Don't-
Al
don't-
Pacino,
don't
Don't saying that. No.
Just take that sound bit. Thanks, Nazis. Love Brian.
No,
Speaking of
absolutely
Al
not.
Pacino, I don't know why probably was like from a really long time ago, but I just like kind of saw it the other day. Have you guys seen the SNL skit when they do Charlie Brown? You're a rat
I
bastard, Charlie Brown.
Love that.
And it's Bill Hader as
Yeah.
Al Pacino playing Charlie Brown. It's
Fuck you, Linus.
He just
Why don't you
bleeps.
go
It's
fuck
constant.
yourself, Charlie Brown?
He gets so many bleeps.
it's so funny. Like, I don't know why I've never actually saw it, but then like I saw a clip of it and then I was like, what is this? I have to find. So I like looked it up on YouTube. I was like, this is hilarious.
And then
You're
what's
You're
it?
a rat bastard, Charlie Brown.
And then,
And the kid, I like that when they show the kids in the audience. The kids are like, "What?
And then she's like, "You want some Klonopin? Oh yeah. Oh,
Some
ah,
Some value?
Oh, something to take this guy high.
yeah. Ooh, ah."
You can't be all mopey on Christmas, Charlie Brown."
And then she does the football thing. He's like, "Oh, you bitch."
Yeah, it's so funny, and I don't know why I never saw it, but it made me chuckle, and I'm gonna watch it probably again before Christmas.
So if you're a
Well,
fan
actually-
of Al Pacino, check out that and Hunters. Very, very good.
So that honestly leads me into. I have other picks, but I also wrote down SNL. I watch SNL every single week. I never miss
Me
a
too.
week. I either watch it live. I mean, it depends on how our Saturday night's going. I'll watch it live.
You watch Saturday Night Live live?
I do from sometimes, and other times I fall asleep halfway through, and then we have to watch Hulu the next day, or we just know we're too tired. We're like, well, let's just watch it tomorrow. Sometimes, usually around like Weekend Update, we fall asleep sometimes because it's just like that sweet spot. But I never miss an episode.
I find that I watch SNL on YouTube like the next day. I'm
Clips,
never
yeah.
up. I'm never up
Well,
at that
yeah.
point.
Nah.
I went to bed last night on a Friday night at 8:00. So that's where we're at.
I somehow we got into bed at like 10:30 because we were tired. Because I got up early and I didn't get like great sleep the night before. I went to bed, but my body was like, literally like won't let me go to bed that early. So we sat in bed and watched. We like chilled and watched like stuff on our phones, or I watched TV or whatever. And then I finally like, actually closed my eyes at like 1:30.
That's like, see, it's just our lifestyles are how different they are. It's just crazy because I went to bed at 8:00, like asleep at like 8:00. I woke up in like
I was
the
like
middle of the
eating dinner, though.
I woke up at the middle of in the middle of the night, which was the middle of the night to me because I had to go to the bathroom.
It was
I
like
looked at
2
the clock.
o'clock?
No, it was 11.
I was still awake for 2+ hours in the middle.
I
of the
was
night.
sleeping for like 3 hours. Woke up in the middle of the night. Put that in quotations, and it was
It's not-
11
technically,
o'clock.
technically it's still the
4
same.
a.m.? Ah.
Technically, it's still the same day.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god,
hasn't
it's
even
so
gone to the
late.
Actually,
have to
I
use the-
love when that happens. That's the
Oh.
best feeling ever. When you wake up and you're like, oh shit, is my alarm gonna go off? And you're like, oh, it's only 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Hell
it's
yeah.
still 4 a.m.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I go to bed at like 9 o'clock tops during the week because my body is just like,
Yeah,
Well,
Time
guys,
to
we
go.
work very different hours.
I work
Yeah.
from. I wake up at 5, and then I work from 6:30 to 5:30, probably
here.
every day.
Yeah, I wake up at 10 or 11 a.m. and then start work at 6. Well, or I have to get on a train to go to the city sometimes, or most times now. So I have to get on a train by 4:30, get to work at before 5:30ish, 6, and then work until 3 a.m.
That's
and then
crazy.
and then take a car home, which the car back here takes around 35 to 45 minutes. So I actually get into bed until probably close to 4 a.m. or after 4 a.m.
Wow. And in an hour I get up. That's crazy. I
Well,
mean,
it's
like I
opposite
said
life.
I said that the other day to Chris. I was like, wow, I start working, like literally legitimately working at 6:30. Like I'm making copies and making new lessons and, you know, all that sort of stuff at 6:30. And I really don't stop until 5:30. Just like on the computer in front of kids. Like, it's just like, this is wild. Like, yeah, teachers are done at 3:00, but
There's a lot more that goes into it. Yeah.
Work sucks.
I know.
So like now that it gets dark around like 5:30, it's 4 o'clock now. I'm like, oh my God, it's so late. Oh, it's 8:00. Well, I might as well just go to bed. So, and then I just go to bed.
Beginning to look a lot like seasonal depression.
Winter. Need more vitamin.
Well, you know what happens? You know what always helps during the darker times of the year when it's literally dark night, hot chocolate and a good old TV show. So what else? What else are you watching?
Well,
so
I gotta just say, well, I don't know, we could.
You didn't really talk about SNL that much.
Well,
kind of went off
SNL, I don't, because it's like there's no plot to SNL. I can't really go into SNL. Like, it's SNL. You love it or you hate it. You watch it.
What do you think of the new cast members? Like the guy, like one of the guys, I think his name is like Austin Johnson or something like that. He does like all the new because he does Biden and he does Trump and he does like a bunch of people.
Yeah, I think he got hired just to do impressions. He's got a lot of plays so far just because he's an impression guy. Yeah, he's good. He does a good job. And then
he does pretty well.
There's people who, like, you know, I usually always like to cast these people I don't love, and I'm not a huge fan of the blonde Heidi. Every time she's on Weekend Update, I just glaze over because all her characters are the same to me. But
I think my favorite SNL cast member, what's his name?
Of all time or right now?
Of right now. His last name is Yang, I think.
Oh, Bowen Yang. He's the best.
Yeah. He's hilarious. So he's so funny. I think every time he's on, it's just great.
I think the last episode we had Simu Liu on the Shang-Chi on as the host.
Yeah.
And they had that whole skit about how like he's the first Asian cast. He was the first Asian cast member on SNL, and then that Simu was the first Asian Marvel like lead or whatever. Mm-hmm. So then he's like, they're going back and forth, like they keep getting awards, like first Asian to eat at this restaurant, like just, like they have all these and then he's like, and then at the end, Bowen's like, don't forget though, I have gay, and then it says first gay Asian to do anything. So like, he tops him by like just being like, I'm Asian, but I'm also gay.
Yeah, no. I think the one that sticks out to me is definitely when he's the iceberg.
Oh, Titanic iceberg is amazing. So many people dressed up that as for Halloween. They did the iceberg.
Did you see his the daddy long leg skit with him? Yeah, that was really funny. It's like a drag show.
You can drag me. It's like
school play,
daddy. And then the iceberg one is. I remember I think I watched that live and I was like rolling on the floor. Yeah, I was like I turn around and half my ass is gone.
And like 40 people died or something.
You hit me. You came
and
to where I live.
And I said, excuse me, which is crazy.
Don't want to be rude, but I heard it's like it's Irish cacophony.
Yeah. I love the Weekend Update is my favorite part of SNL, I think. Yeah. Just by far.
It's hard to watch older ones though, because it's like it's so topical. It's like what's happening that week.
Right. So if you watch one I like watching it.
If you watch one for like 5 years ago, you're like, oh yeah, that happened. I barely remember any of those things. But it's still the jokes are always really good.
The jokes are great, and then I love the banter between Shay and Jost, which is always funny. And then the characters though that they bring on, like we still quote and or watch Big Papi on.
Big look. Have you guys eaten mofongo? I've eaten mofongo. It's good.
I have not.
It's really good. It's like a. It's like a rice. No, it's got meat. It's all meat.
It's like mofongo.
It's got mofongo. I've had, but
fritos.
Fritos.
I sponsor ships. Oh, you got sponsorships.
I sponsor sheep.
I sponsor sheeps.
You want to go a place where there's water? Take a sheep.
When it gets over somewhere really slow and wet, take a ship.
Take a sheep. But yeah, well, Keenan also an all-star for forever. Yeah.
I thought he ever going to be on the new season. I thought I heard rumors that he wasn't going to, but I watched the first episode and it was like Keenan Thompson. I was like, oh, he's still here. Okay.
And I watched the other day just because it came into my mind and I was like, I want to watch it. Was What's up with that?
Oh my god, they did a new
What's up
new
with
one
that?
recently.
When Jacob Sudeikis was on.
Yeah,
right?
because he does the dancing in the background.
Yeah. But
Lindsay Buckingham.
Oh my god, every time.
Lindsay, we forgot about you. Were gonna do
Lindsay,
that thing.
but who was it? Where it's like, oh, Lindsay, like that's a great Greg from Succession costume.
No, I'm actually.
That's Greg is also from Succession, my favorite, one of our favorite characters, because he's like an everyman, where he's like the cousin. He's like the cousin of them, so he's not like involved in their family garbage, but he's like on the side, just trying to like get his little piece of the pie. It's like he's also just like hilarious, where he's just like so naive and so innocent. And they're all like doing deals and like blowing millions of dollars. He's like, I just need like a place to live. Like he's just trying to get a little piece of the pie, and it's very funny.
What's up with that?
Oh, but that's good. I've literally watched every single one, and it's so catchy, and it's every time I love it. And they just like they interview, and they're like, gonna find vibration, gonna save the nation. And I got to say, and then everyone jumps in. And then Fred Armisen with the saxophone. What's up with that? Oh man, that's one of my.
We had a time.
That's like if that like a list of sketches. That's one of my favorite. That's the top for sure. It makes me laugh every single time.
I guess now if we're gonna go, what am I watching? Because we've all done things that like we are watched, pretty much. Like me and Brian both did things we watched. What I'm watching right now that's still not over yet is I just started the Hawkeye show that released
that was my list on my list. I
haven't watched it yet. How is it?
I'm enjoying it. It's very good. I always liked Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. I always thought he did a good job, and it was never really because of being Hawkeye compared to like Thor and Iron. He really doesn't get his time in the spotlight because he's just like a guy with a bow and arrow.
This show is more grounded because it's not as fantastical, because like Loki's show is really cool, and I like that because it's timey-wimey stuff, but like it's like fantastical. It's Loki. It has a lot of craziness going on in it, but this one's like really like just like there's street thugs, and there's like great, like as grounded as it can get. Yeah,
and I like the way they're shooting some of the things. Like one of the car chases, it's like a continuous cut of like the camera just going around.
As soon as it started, I'm like, oh, this is a Warner for sure.
Yeah, and it's like going like showing behind the car, then like turning, seeing them in the seats back in the car, and it just like keeps spinning, and it's like it really puts a cool twist on how to film a car chase.
They said that's ripped right from this Hawkeye comic that this is based on. It's like directly out of there. No spoilers. Brian hasn't watched it, but
it's very good. And
there's only 3 episodes out, right? Yeah, there's 3 episodes.
Yeah, there's 3. It comes out on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
I'm also I don't know, in like a normal time I would watch that kind of show because it's like it's not anything crazy or fantastical, but I know it may feed into something that's gonna like in the larger MCU that it's kind of like I don't want to miss it and then be like, okay, why do I need to know? I get FOMO with that stuff. I have like watched YouTube videos after I watch that I find.
Me too. I do too. I just enjoy the groundedness of it because. With WandaVision and Loki and all these things that are like all way out of whack of like, big, huge, like magical things. It's kind of nice to come back to like, there's still normal people in this world and it's not all huge things to kind of go back to. And, him shooting the bow and arrow and like just being like an assassin type guy. It's different and not as like intense. So it's kind of like, cool.
It's cool. Speaking of Disney Plus shows, you guys know when the Obi-Wan show is going to come out?
It says
this
2022.
This year. Oh, next year.
I want to say early 2022, so I'm thinking first quarter 2022. So maybe by March it's out.
March.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, they'll have Book of Boba Fett's coming out end of this month.
I want it now.
Yeah,
Book of Boba Fett comes out. I'm excited for that.
That's on. Yeah, it's coming out Christmas Eve time.
Is that going to tell us like what happened to him after? Because I thought he died in the Snorlax pit.
No, it's going to go over. It's going to go over. Maybe they'll have flashbacks. I don't know. It's going to go over him taking over control of Jabba's crime syndicate.
Yeah.
That's
on Tatooine.
Cool. Yeah.
But it's like, because it's like, I think they're going to show it because I think they had a teaser or something about like how it's like they thought I was dead and I'm back. And then they show him back to tank getting, I don't know, but they may show like how they got out of the Snorlax pit. And then like, because there's also, I think there's a comic about it, how he got out.
Yeah, there's a couple things. So I'm just looking forward to that. I mean, I like any of the new Star Wars shows because they're doing such a great job with them. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm interested to see where like the new Mandalorian, like where they're gonna go, because I feel like Luke. Oh, spoilers for season 2 of Mandalorian. 3, 2, 1. Luke came and took Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
What?
So where do they go?
Where do they go from there? Like, do they flash forward and then like he meets up with Baby Yoda again? It's like teenage Yoda, not teenage, but like he's a little older. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm interested where they take it, or will Mandalorian just kind of like go on his own little adventure and meet and have a new adventure? And then maybe.
Well, I think they're setting up a kind of power struggle between him and Bo-Katan because he has the Darksaber, which technically makes him ruler of Mandalore. And he wants it, so it's like, how is that power struggle going to go?
But he was so like, all right, take it. But he's like, no, you have to win in a battle.
You have to win in combat. So
like, why don't he was like, okay, let's battle, and then just like let her win.
Yeah, I know. Oh, then also too, you have Moff Gideon in there. He's still alive. So what is that going to be like? Where is that going to go? So
and I feel like Ahsoka Tano's getting her. She has her own show. That's right.
Which they just, I mean, if you guys didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars, but they just casted the actress that's going to play Sabine Wren, who is a huge character in Rebels. She's a Mandalorian. So I'm excited to see where they take that. Well,
what's her name in the Mandalorian? Isn't the woman, the redhead, what's her name? Sabine?
No. The one in Mandalorian is Bo-Katan.
But that woman is the woman who voices Bo-Katan in the animated show.
She's
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and also the guy
translated over.
Do you remember Mandalorian season 1 when they like the first episode with Bill Burr?
Yeah,
that whole like sequence. So the guy who plays the guard in it that like has the thing and then like calls for like the reinforcements or whatever.
The guy like in the command room kind of thing. Yeah,
that guy plays Anakin on the Clone Wars. He's the
voice.
He's the voice of Anakin on the Clone Wars. So it's kind of cool that they like brought him.
Well, it's all Dave Filoni. Too. Like Dave Filoni did Clone Wars, and he's like, all right, let's bring back these guys. To give them some.
And then like Rebels, Clone Wars, and the guy who does the voice of Darth Maul, he needs to be in something else because he is so good at Darth Maul in the Clone Wars.
Well, was he the voice of Darth Maul in spoiler for Solo? At the end of Solo, was he the voice of that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I remember that being stupid sending.
I mean, I feel like I've said that multiple times to you guys. You have to watch Clone Wars. It's so good.
I watched
Rebels is okay because I do like Ezra Bridger. He's a cool Jedi. But Clone Wars is awesome.
Awesome.
You really would get a more of a kind of enjoyment out of watching the Ahsoka show if you watch the Clone Wars, because you get to see her start as a Padawan,
grow up,
and she's so annoying, and then over time she grows and like becomes this awesome character that you really like to the end, and then like it makes you want to know more about her story. So I recommend that watch.
Well, I think isn't Hayden Christensen going to be in the Ahsoka show?
I don't know if he's in the Ahsoka show, but he definitely was cast in the Kenobi show.
In the Kenobi show, yeah, because it's supposed. Well, he's going to be in the. I guess he's going to be in the Darth Vader suit then.
Yeah,
which is what
they might have some. They might have some flashbacks too in there that he might be.
Or they'll just show him like, because you see him at the end of Return of the Jedi, obviously older and all blistered up, but like he may be in it where he like takes the Darth Vader, like when he takes off the helmet to like, I guess lube himself up or whatever he does.
Yeah, and
put some ointment on his head. Yeah. So like they may have like, because technically it's supposed to be like not that long after episode 3. They may show him as like a messed up face, but like.
All right, and I think they're going to like, judging by the concept art stuff that they showed, it looked like the same ship from Jedi Fallen Order. So I think it's going to be like the second sister and the second sister. The Jedi Hunters. Inquisitors, yes. Yeah, like they're going to be, and he's going to have to battle some of them.
They're probably searching for Luke or either for Luke or
they don't know about Luke.
They don't know Luke. Yeah, that's right.
Right, they're probably searching for other Jedi.
They're searching for Obi-Wan. Duh. Yeah, that makes sense.
So he's going to have to fight some of them, which would be really. But
he seems like he goes off. He doesn't stay. He's on Tatooine the whole time. I think he'll probably get called for something.
Yeah, he's going to
show him going off world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to that too.
Yeah, looks
but
cool.
Speaking of like, since I brought up Hawkeye, it just came into my mind. Haley Steinfeld plays Kate Bishop, who is
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Haley.
She plays the new Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. Like she's like kind of starting out to be a Hawkeye. So I think they're leaning towards making a Young Avengers movie, which is going to be cool. But
her, the sons from WandaVision,
like they're all going to
a bunch of
together.
other people that kind of like people that they've already
Miss
introduced
Marvel. They're going to start bringing in all these younger characters to kind of move the Avengers forward. But she also voices the character Vi on Arcane.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And she does a great job with that voice acting.
Coming full circle.
Yeah, so both of my shows have Haley Steinfeld in it because she's great.
I feel like Haley Steinfeld would be a lot of fun. That'd be so cool to do, like what we're doing right now in front of this microphone. But I'm like, no, don't punch me in the face or whatever.
What a good line read.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like voice acting would be so much fun.
I made like a voice acting reel, and I put it on like this acting like website, and I never heard anything back, but I also didn't try very hard. But I thought I would always love to do that. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, voice
coming
acting
soon to theaters.
But then you have Chris Pratt taking all the voicing roles.
Yeah.
So
I could have been Garfield. I like lasagna and naps, and I hate Mondays.
Lasagna Mondays.
You got the job.
Oh, thank you. So I guess Brian, we'll finish it out with you. What are your last? What's your last show you're watching right now, or is it just Hunters?
No. Well, to be honest with you,
he lies all the time. This is actually honestly.
I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld on Netflix because it pops up. It's just so classic and easy to watch, and like Bree and I've been watching like the entire series basically in like 2 months.
Awesome.
Hold on.
Bless you.
God bless you. Oh crap!
Wow. We might as well go to a different topic. All right, Brian, you can take. All right.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You done?
Anyway, yes.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld, but when I am kind of just like looking for something to put in the background, if I'm like grading or just doing work or whatever, if I just put something on the background that I don't want to pay attention to distract me, but I want something in the background, Ancient Aliens all the way.
Oh my God.
It's such a ridiculous show, but it's so entertaining because it's so ridiculous that it's really good as a background. But if you ever want to just like, sometimes I find myself, yeah, exactly, that guy. Sometimes I find myself paying attention to it when I'm not supposed to.
It's not doing what you wanted to do because you're watching it. It's like
exactly
grading
papers. But I'm like, oh shit, like maybe this
looks like a dude in
astronaut set.
Anything could be maybe. It's like, oh, they did it.
Some of the arguments that they make are like very ridiculous. Like they're like, this rock is shaped like this. It's gotta be an alien civilization. And I'm like, that's a stretch.
No man could possibly make this kind of shape of rock. It's like crazy shit happens all the time in nature. Why not?
Yeah. And also like they're underestimating the intelligence of ancient civilizations
and the hard work and the oh, how could anyone make the pyramids? Like over such a long period of time, that thing probably take to make.
Yeah.
Like they didn't make it in like a day. It took like months and months and years probably to make it.
And like archaeology hasn't uncovered everything. And also if we just assume that they did not have the technology or the know-how, how do you know that? Maybe we just didn't find the apparatus that they used to build these structures or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, a lot of the stuff like this block is like 17 tons. How'd they lift it up and put it on top of this?
With a whole bunch of Jewish slaves, like hundreds of slaves pushing it and pulleys and things. And they also didn't give a shit if like 10 of them got run over because they were slaves in their
get some more.
Yeah, just go into town and I don't know, not town.
It wasn't just Jewish slaves too. They had just prisoners of war. Everybody was in there.
Everybody make it a pyramid.
Let my people go.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not really a show I would recommend to watch. But like, if you ever want a good laugh, or if you ever want some background drone in the background while you're doing some work. I
watch a whole lot of YouTube. Honestly, that's my background. I have shows I watch every day. I have clips. I just always have YouTube on if I'm not watching.
My background, it has to be nothing. I can't have anything going in the background because whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing is not getting done. So I'll be watching whatever. It doesn't matter. Ancient Aliens. It could be the most boring show ever. I will watch it.
I can't read or like write while something's on. I can't do that. But like when I'm working on what I work on,
well, unfortunately for me and Brian, our work, well, my work, I don't know about Brian's, is reading and writing. So I can't.
Brian's like, I don't do that.
No.
Well, it's hard. It's hard
like
enough to read my students' handwriting, let alone, try to focus on reading this hieroglyphics that are kids' handwriting.
Shout out to
and then also
Kev students who can't write.
Well, there's a couple of them that's like, what is this? I don't even know what you're saying. And then there's some that look like typewriter, and it's crazy. So
Wow.
It makes it easier to grade when they look like that.
All right, I have a couple more little things on my list. I'll just kind of more honorable mentions. I won't go into them, but no.
All right.
You said Hawkeye. I'm watching Hawkeye currently to know what's going on in the MCU. I am watching. We watched obviously Ted Lasso. Great feel good show.
Yeah,
everyone loves. SNL, I said, and also What We Do in the Shadows. I think the 4th season just ended on FX, based on the movie, Taika Waititi movie, where they're like, it's like a mockumentary of vampires like they all live in a flat together, and they made a show about it. That. It's very, it's dry, it's fun. I just love that
dry. It's like drier than the
movie or the TV show.
So bored.
The movie or the TV show.
The TV show on FX. Like,
if you just jumped into it right now, if you don't know from the beginning.
Still,
I like that kind of comedy. It can be really dry and it's like, they're just doing day-to-day things, but because they're vampires, it's funny.
Okay.
that's just that's my little list I made. I just wrote up quick while I was watching.
My honorable mention, we just started rewatching as like we're gonna eat dinner or do something, and it's kind of like we'll put on an episode just for fun. Is the show New Girl on Netflix? It's what
New Girl.
It's one of the I think it's one of the funniest. Like, I guess it's considered a sitcom. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a sitcom.
It's one of the funniest ones.
It's a situational comedy.
I think, because it doesn't have a laugh track, which is, I love the fact that it doesn't have a laugh track. So
most shows don't have laugh tracks anymore.
Like, well, I mean, you watch the classics like Seinfeld or
those are all
Friends or How I Met Your Mother, right? How I Met Your Mother had laugh track.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it kind of, I don't know. I don't care.
Well, it's not laugh track. It's live audience. It's like in the
but
audience.
Still, like, I like to laugh at what I think is funny. And
New Big Girl Bang Theory had it too, but now they like The Office doesn't have it. Everything like that. Most shows don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Well, the fact, like, I just love the characters of New Girl. They're all so relatable and funny that
relatable.
I mean, it is. It's funny. So it makes me laugh every time. So I'll have that on as kind of like a background. That's my background, but I can't be doing work during it. It would be like while we're eating or something.
Right. My honorable mention, everybody check out the Beatles documentary, Get Back on
Did you watch the whole thing already?
No, I watched about 5 hours of it, but still a little bit more.
Isn't it like 2 hours each?
2.5 hours, 3 parts.
That's too much. I can't do. I like the Beatles, but not that much.
It's so good.
I know, but like I'm like, this is for like Beatles fans only. Like, I can't watch.
Yeah, like, is it good, Brian? Like, is it good for normal people, or is it good for you?
I mean,
it's too long.
It is very long, but it feels like you're in the studio with them. Like, it's pretty cool, and it gives you kind of background. Like, oh, that's how they came up with this song, or oh, that's the.
But that's for the fans who really know all the songs.
So me and Will wouldn't care for it.
I think it'd be interesting, but I wouldn't watch it. But it's just too long. I wouldn't be able to watch the whole thing. But I think it would be interesting some parts. I want to see. I'll watch clips of it. That would be more.
And interesting. There's some drama with like what happened with like
Yoko Ono messed it all up.
With like some of the things with the relationships and like the precursors to the breakup and everything like that. Because this was filmed during 1969, and then their last album, Let It Be, came out in 1970. So this is
lead up to the last one.
Some of the songs that they were recording and writing in the studio were from Abbey Road, which came out in 69, and then some that came out on Let It Be in 1970. So they were kind of writing the songs for both those albums concurrently, and then like all the drama was happening at the same time that they finished both of those, and then no more.
We were in the studio, and that's Ringo, right? He sounds more like that. We were in the studio playing some.
That sounds like. I feel like that sounds more like. That sounds like Paul.
And John was over there saying we should do it this way. I said, John, I don't think so. Yoko, you get out of here. You're not part of the band.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Not bad.
And it didn't turn into Ringo has more nasally. Ringo's more like I just over there playing the drums. I don't know. That's not as bad.
Yeah, you're not bad.
It's close.
Pretty
It's
good.
close. And I don't know what the other guy said. What's the other guy's? George. I have no idea what George.
George doesn't talk.
George Harrison,
No,
and
George-
well, that's why he got pissed, because he wasn't like his ideas weren't taken.
George
into
doesn't talk.
consideration.
He's kind of like, the magician duo. The one guy talks and the other guy's silent. George is the silent guy.
He's
Yeah.
Penn and Teller.
And that added to why he did not appreciate the way he was being treated because of that. Because he was like, I'm gonna play it like this, and then
That
Paul was
sounds like John Lennon.
no, you got to do it like this, and then he was like,
What's John Lennon sound like?
I don't know. I feel
Like
like
this.
they all sound very similar, but
Paul,
Yeah,
They're all
I-
English, ain't they?
no, that's too Cockney.
they all sound
They're
They're all
not-
Cockney accents.
No, they're not that cut. They're like oh, Paul, I think we should do it this way, Paul. He was
They're
like,
from
ooh,
Liverpool.
ooh.
So, yeah,
I got shot in New York City by a crazy man. Ooh.
Too
He
soon.
did.
but I like it because I'm a fan. I mean, sitting in my basement right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Brian can count, everybody.
I have like 5 or 6 Beatles memorabilia posters in just my basement. And
Damn.
Your dog's name is Sergeant Pepper.
yes, that too. So yeah, some would call me a big fan. So
Some
I
may would.
like it a lot. So yeah, I mean my dog's name is Pepper. Her rank is Sergeant, but
But
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I will watch probably because
I'll watch it.
Give it a-
I'll watch clips of it. It's interesting.
yeah, give it a shot, give it a go. If you're bored after the first hour, then maybe it's not for you.
after the first hour, that's too much.
Well, because I'm saying there's like 6 hours of content.
It's so much.
That's too much.
Yeah.
It's for diehard. It's for diehard Beatle fans. Like they're gonna
Which
be
there
all.
are quite a few.
They're gonna be into it, and it's for
You
them. It's
enjoy
fine.
it, and I will enjoy that you enjoy it, and that's as far as I'll get with it.
Thanks,
That's all
Kev.
good.
You're welcome.
So watch these shows. If we gave some recommendations. If you need a show to watch, check out one of those. And
Well- We got time.
well, we got time. Thank you for Lindsey Buckingham to come.
Oh, that's it.
Lindsay. Oh, I'm sorry, Lindsay. We didn't get to talk to you.
Ooh-wee.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Stick around for next week when we do Christmas.
Well, not next week. Next episode.
Oh, right.
Right?
Next episode. Correct. Yes. You know what I meant. Next time you hear us, we'll talk about some Christmas stuff. So get your holiday spirit in your body.
Get your holiday spirit going.
All right.
What?
Well, Thrice, everybody.
Peace out.
Peace
Later.
out.
A-Town.
Mm-mm.